Let's make America great again.
When was America last great?
America never stopped being great.
I promise you our strength, our greatness, does not depend on Donald Trump.
Together, we will make America great again.
Don't let anyone ever tell you that this country isn't great, that somehow we need to make it great again, because this right now is the greatest country on earth.
I really wanted to make some science content for you guys today, but my heart is just not in it. This problem that we have in America is specifically an American problem. No other country has this issue. Not Canada, not England, not France, not Australia, all of our allies. The other great countries, we're the only ones that wake up every day to mass gun violence. Our government is restricting our rights to medical care. They are pulling back on the school systems. You know, the number one cause of death for pregnant women is homicide, and they want more pregnant women. They want more kids so that more kids can get unalived in their schools. They want to ban our access to TikTok. They want to restrict our First Amendment right because they don't like what we have to say. They want to ban drag queens. Drag queens, when firearms are the number one cause of death of children in this country. The number one cause. When the fuck is everyone gonna wake up and see that we are living in a fascist nightmare hellscape every single day in this country? How many more dead kids is it gonna take before the GOP stops taking blood money from the NRA? How much is America's children? How much are their lives worth to you? How much? America has never been a great country, and she's not a great country now.
When was America great? Asking to white people when was America great, and they're like, they even don't know when was America great. And with the current situation where how the economy of America is going and the situation is going, Americans are like, oh no, they lied to us. They lied to us about the American dream. They lied to us about the greatness of America. And we are moving out. Healthcare is problem. Gas is high. There's no Medicaid. Education is high. When was America great again? That's the question we are going to tackle today. But grand rising kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean, much love and much respect and endless appreciation for every single one of you that you are joining here today, because you could have been anywhere else, I know, but you chose to be here with me, rising with this truth, feeding your soul with knowledge and spreading this light. And for that, I say thank you and I love you all deeply together. Today's message is going to be somehow deeper. It's going to shake the foundation and of what many people believe about America. Because for centuries, the system has pushed one big question into our faces without even answering it. When was America ever great? You have heard the slogan about Make America Great Again. You have seen politicians stand on the podium waving flags. DJ T is out there saying, you're going to make America great again. And that greatness they speak was built on the backs of slavery. The greatness they talk about, it was built by black people. It was built by colonization. It was built by genocide. It was built by oppression. And now in 2025, even white Americans themselves are waking up and realizing that, wow, maybe America was never great. It's because America was built on top of lies, and that's why they can never see its greatness. It is because America was built because of the sweat of another people. That's why they can never see that greatness. Africa is great. Nobody is denying that. Even white people, they are seeing it, and that's why they are running out here, coming to Africa. But America is never great. Everyone who is in America can testify that what you do is just work, pay bills, work. There is no relaxing like we are doing in Africa. And that's why when Americans want to have a break, that's why when they want to go for vacation, they come to Africa. Before I go down into this myth of greatness, I want you to watch these clips and then We continue. These are the clips of white America complaining, white America saying America was never great, about the dream and everything. Let's watch this and then we come back.
When was America last great?
For me, I would say the turning point for our country was 1913 when we passed the 17th Amendment. And what's
So like back when like women couldn't vote?
Yeah, back up, but again, let's
Like that
go
was
back.
that's kind of your sweet spot right there?
Absolutely.
What year was America great?
When it was founded.
Except for the slavery stuff.
Except for the slavery stuff, you know?
I think we were probably our strongest immediately post-World War II.
So around the 1950s?
Yeah, mid-40s, 50s.
I mean, I think the 50s was great other than, segregation and women's rights.
Look, we could sit here and paint negative faces of all times in America.
Correct.
Seeing the clip from Jeff Daniels in the newsroom about tell me what's great about America. Fundamentally, that is why we're here as a country. When I hear Make America Great Again, when? Let's review America. Let's look at its greatness, shall we? We started off by genociding the Native Americans by the millions, whose land was rightfully theirs. We just took it from them, and we didn't value their lives. Then we started this country, then we took black people from Africa, because we didn't value their lives. Then we forced them to pick our cotton and raise our kids and build our White House and do all the work that white people were too lazy to do. Wow, starting off really great, isn't it? And then we come up with the Constitution in 1787. And we're still waiting for this greatness, right? So the founding fathers that were racist slave owners that owned black people like cattle, great start, right? They designed the country to benefit 21-year-old land-owning white men, and black people were only worth 60% of a white man. And then women didn't have the right to vote, have credit, no-fault divorce. They were also treated as less than the white man. And we said, yay, we're great, we're America, now we're free. Except for everybody except the white man. And black Americans couldn't drink from the same water fountains, sit on a bus, go to church, and on and on and on. Slavery, Jim Crow, Black Wall Street, and all the time, my demographic, we're great, we're great, we're great. Then you fast forward to 2024. And we finally have the opportunity to do something. To show that we're going to progress as a society. Not just the most qualified black woman, but the most qualified candidate in the history of our country. And this country did what it always does. It fell back on the most uneducated, morally bankrupt, foolish, childish, immature plantation owner that wears diapers and orange makeup. Because that's what America wants. We have 11.1% of our population that live in poverty. 14 million children go to school hungry every day. We have over 40,000 people that sadly lose their lives to pew-pew violence because we do nothing about it, because we're such a great country. Our largest employer, Walmart, has 15,000 people that are on public assistance that you and I pay for. We have the most incarcerated prison systems in the entire world. Now, if you're a black man and you're running down the street like Ahmaud Arbery, you got a bunch of white U.S. citizens that think you're stealing something because you're black. And they unalive him. If you're a convicted felon and you abuse women and you try to overturn a free and fair election through an insurrection, you get to be president. If you take a knee and stand for what's right, you're called the son of a bitch and you lose your job. But if you're white and you storm the Capitol and you attack police officers on video and you admit to it in a court of law and you're found guilty by a jury of your peers, you get pardoned because we're such a great country. There's a lot of countries that have freedom. Australia, Belgium, Iceland, Canada, Japan. Lots of countries have freedom. We're $36 trillion in debt because we can't even balance a budget because we're so wasteful as Americans. The story with Adriana Smith really summarizes how broken this country truly is and how little it actually values a life that doesn't look like me. She's a 30-year-old black mother, and she has a little son. When she was 9 weeks pregnant, she got a clot in her brain. And sadly, her brain is no longer functioning. It's awful. I don't know all the details, but she's no longer viable as a functioning person. So the state of Georgia, because they're so pro-life, because of their heartbeat bill, they've turned her into a human incubator, which is morally reprehensible. It's repulsive. It's gross. So for the last 60 days, they've kept her alive to save that infant. And her young son comes by and visits, and he thinks that his mom is sleeping. That is gut-wrenchingly heartbreaking. Because they want to push their agenda to populate more children in this country. But what happens after that is really what America is. They don't care if that family goes into medical debt, files bankruptcy, loses their house, from being forced to leave her daughter on a ventilator. Who knows how long? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more months? Let's just presume the baby makes it somehow without any defects. America doesn't care if that kid has food, if it has a house. It doesn't care if it has health care. It doesn't care if it's unalived in a school due to pew-pew violence. And it sure in the hell doesn't care if it has clean water and clean air. So my question for you, MAGA, what exactly is great about this country? I'll tell you what you think is great. Your whiteness. Your version of white America. Having 800 million American flags? No, that's not great. Having a pet bald eagle? That's not great. Worshipping a flag, praying to it, singing to it? No. See, what you don't realize because you're too ignorant is that that flag to a lot of people, to Asian Americans, to black Americans, to women, to minorities, it's been a symbol of oppression since the inception of this country. That's what you fail to realize because you're too ignorant. That's why we're here. Because you don't care that other people view that flag differently than you. You're insulted when I say America has never been great for everybody. We have to come to terms with that. And if it makes people angry, that's too goddamn bad. I can both appreciate people that served this country and fought for our freedoms and safety. But I can also say in the same breath, it has never been great for everybody. Kicking out trans people who have served in our military for 15 or 18 years while you voted for a little coward-ass bitch that had bone spurs that wears makeup and diapers, there's nothing patriotic about it. Those trans people served this country bravely. And you are cowards for kicking them out. They protected your freedom and my freedom. And that is one more example of why this country isn't great. Because you want to make America white again. You want one thing and one thing alone. Straight white Christian America. But if you commit felonies, if you steal from cancer charities, if you cheat on your wives with a porn star, if you steal top secret documents, if you have dinner with white nationalists, if you insult people, if you make fun of people, if you talk about Hannibal Lecter and electric sharks, as long as you're a white man in your America, that's okay, because you want to make America white again. You have a good day.
If you want to make the head explode of a Make America Great Again Trumper, ask them, when was America great and why? First, they'll resist answering the question. Then, when you press them, they might give you an answer like the 1960s or some other time before the Civil Rights Act, when if you weren't a white man in this country, you pretty much had no rights. If you're a woman, you needed your husband's recommendation or approval to get a credit card, etc. What not one of them has ever said to me was that America was great from 2017 to 2020, when Donald Trump was in his first term. Apparently, America was not great then, when their Lord and Savior was president. I might have had one person tell me 2020, when COVID was raging, that's when America was great. That was certainly awesome. I remember that fondly. But give it a try. Make them tell you when America was great, and not only when, but why, and see what kind of answers you get. It is amusing, and it makes them run around in circles. It's funny.
Welcome back, family. So we have this myth of greatness, and this means greatness is supposed to be about justice. Greatness of America is supposed to be equality, fairness, progress, and freedom, and that's what they sell to us in textbook. That's what they sell to people in textbook. That's why they sell to my African brothers and sisters every time they just want to go to America to feel that greatness. They sell that in Hollywood movies, they say that in politics speeches. But when we dig deeper, when we strip away the red, white, and blueprint, we see that America's so-called greatness was never about justice. It was about domination. America dominating other people, that's what they call greatness. Oppressing black people and taking over what they feeding off the backs of white creations, white innovators, fashion designers, black fashion designers, black innovators, black influencers. That's what they call greatness. From the very beginning, America Foundation was soaked in blood. This land was stolen from indigenous people through unaliving, unbroken treaties. The wealth of the country was built on the back of African slaves who were kidnapped, who were tortured and forced to work without pay. The cotton, the sugar, the railroad, the industries, all of this came from exploitation. I ask again, when people say make America great again, when exactly are they talking about? Are they talking about the 1700s when slavery was legal? Are they talking about the 1800s when lynchings were entertainment for white families on Sundays? Are they talking about the 1900s when segregation made black people second-class citizens in their own land? Or are they talking about the 1950s, 1960s when America was becoming economically, but still beating and jailing black folks for simply asking for basic rights? There's a video, the ones I've played you, one was asked, when was America great? And it was like, I even don't know. They even don't know how America is great. They even don't know. Because Africa, when someone asks me, how is Africa great? I will tell him, we have these resources. We have everything. We have code. We got everything, man. This America was greatness for who? You see, the truth is very simple. America was only ever great for a small group of people. Or America is only great for a small group of people, for the white elite, for the rich white people, for the ruling class, for those who benefit from stolen land, for those who benefited from stolen labor, for those who benefited from stolen lives. But for everyone else, especially black people, indigenous people, immigrants, and poor white people, America is a nightmare, or was a nightmare. It was a nightmare just dressed up as a dream. That's why they call American dream. And for you to experience that dream, you need to sleep fast. So you can never experience the greatness of America unless you are, it's only when you sleep, that's why you will dream. Why is it called American dream? You could call it American reality. It's only a dream because you have to sleep so that you can dream about it. And this is why even today, when white Americans look back at history, they conveniently erase the suffering of everyone else. They talk about the 1950s as it was a golden age. But let me ask you this one question. It was golden age for who? For black people being denied voting rights, for women being told to stay in the kitchen, for Latinos being exploited as cheap labor? Is it golden for the native people being forced onto reservations? When we talk about greatness, we must always ask, greatness for who? Because if greatness only exists for one group while everyone else is crushed, that's not greatness at all. That's oppression. Now, here is where it is getting real. Right now in 2025 or in current time, for decades, black people, African people, and oppressed people have been saying that America is not what it is. America is not what they pretend to be. Black people have been shouting, have been testing. The system is broken, black people said. The dream is a lie. The greatness is a mark. The greatness is a mask. But while Americans didn't want to listen because they were like, oh, you are the problem. But now in 2025, I tell you, white Americans are finally starting to feel the weight of the system collapsing on their own backs. The economy is crumbling. Jobs that used to be secure are vanishing. The cost of living is skyrocketing. Housing is unaffordable. Healthcare is a luxury. Even white middle-class families are realizing that the system doesn't love them either. Add to that political chaos, the corruption, the global decline of American power, and suddenly white America is waking up to the very truth that black people have been saying for centuries, the truth that America was built on lies, the truth that the empire is falling, the truth that greatness was always a fantasy designed to keep people distracted while the elite keep everything on themselves. And this is the irony. White Americans are now learning the hard way. White Americans now realizing that the system they defended, the system they celebrated is now turning against them. You see what white farmers are going through. They're out here making videos saying that they wish they knew. The MAGA supporters are out here making videos. They wish they knew they are in this fearful moment. The system is now turning against them. The white farmers are being forced to work on their own farms when they were getting cheap labor from immigrants. This isn't the America they have been telling us on Hollywoods. And even the white America, they are now saying the system is unfair, that this isn't what they were promised. I will proudly say, welcome to the truth. Welcome to the reality, my brothers and sisters. But this reality, black people have known it for long. And I always say, history never lie. History don't lie. When I go back to history for a moment, because when you study history, you see the pattern clearly. America never had a golden age of fairness because the wealthiest country in the world only became wealthy because of slavery, only became wealthy because of colonization, only became wealthy because of global exploitation. Just think about this. How could America have been great while millions of Africans were in chains? How could America have been great while black people were being lynched? How could America have been great while segregation signs said white only and no colored allowed? You can't call yourself greatness, or you can't call that greatness. That's hypocrisy. It is injustice. It's the crime against humanity. And the thing is, the whole world is now watching. America used to pride itself on being the shining city on the hill. But now the mask is off. Countries around the world see the poverty, the homelessness. Country right now, like China, it's looking eyebrow to eyebrow with America and telling them, you know what? We got the balls, man. And for the white Americans, this is shocking because they were raised to believe that their nation was number one, the leader, the standard. But the reality is different. The empire is crumbling and the world is moving on. My black kings and queens. Black people always knew the truth. We never believed the fairy tales from slavery days through Jim Crow, segregation, civil movement rights or civil rights movement to now. We have been, we have carried the truth to our bones. America was never truly great. And yet, black people fought, we resisted, we built, we created, we survived, we thrived in spite of all this. But we always knew that the system wasn't designed on black people. And now that the same truth is becoming clear to white Americans. Now the question is, what happens when the lie collapses? You know, what happens when the millions of people realize that America greatness was a myth? That the dream was just a marketing campaign? That the wealth was stolen, the opportunities rigged, and the justice system corrupt? We are in that moment right now, and it is shaking America to the core. It is shaking America to its core, man. They are out here like, okay, what are we going to do? And that's why you see fail after fail. The president trying to put laws after laws, trying to do some things to, but it is not happening because the shift started and black people are coming to power, man. This is the moment of the truth. This is the moment for honesty. And that is the moment for us, black people. We need to wake up as Africans, as the diaspora. I just have to remind you that the world, that greatness is not about exploitation. Greatness is about unity, justice, truth, and freedom. If America wants to talk about being great, then let's talk about repairing the damages done. Let's talk about reparation. Let's talk about justice for black people. Let's talk about, equality. And that is real, not just on paper, being real. Until that time, all this talk of greatness, I think it's just noise. So, when was America great? I'll say personally, to answer the question, it has never been great. Not for the majority, not for the oppressed, not for the people whose blood built this land. It was never been great for them. And today, as white Americans wake up to the truth, they are learning the hard way what black people have been saying all along. America wasn't great then, and it's not great right now. Message to my African people, especially the youth. This America you all fight going there is not that great as you think. Talk to people from there. Ask them questions and we will know what is going on. So, family, I have you with this. I will leave you with this. So, I will leave you with this. Don't let the slogans fool you. No. Don't let the propaganda blind you. We are the truth. We are the future. Africans, we are. Till next time, peace out.